Okay there guys, it's that time again. Mark Ito with a patch preview for 11.7, so let's get right into it. So it's a patch preview, so things can change, and we've seen them change before, so don't expect everything to be one-to-one, but a good representation of what's expected to come. So at the top we start with item nerfs. Essence Fever going from 2,900 gold to 2,800 gold, and the AD going down from 55 to 45. So it's 100 gold cheaper, but 10 AD less. In a way, it's kind of a buff because you can come online faster, but in reality, overall it's a nerf because you're losing 10 AD, which 10 AD would help a lot for your Spellblade. And it's probably a good thing because Essence Fever is really nuts, and this isn't going to get rid of it by any means. Essence Fever is still going to be really good, just taking on the power level a bit there. Lord Dominic's Regards going from 2,900 gold to 3,000 gold and 35 AD to 30 AD. This is just to clean up since they just finished cleaning up Grudge as well in this patch. So it's just a small cleanup. It's still a really great item. It has the Giant Slayer passive on top of more armor pen, so that's always a big plus. The Everfrost active damage went from 125 base 35% AP to 100 base 30% AP, and the active cooldown from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. I've been an early pioneer saying Everfrost has been broken ever since I realized they changed the mythic passive to be 15 raw AP. It's a really good item, and now they made the build path like actually achievable, kind of like Luden's. The item's been being spammed ever since, so I'm glad I got a nerf. It deserves it, and honestly, it's still gonna be a really good item because of the amount of util it brings to Mage's kits. Items buff: Shredder's Grudge. I think I pronounced that one right. That one's a weird one. Went from 3,400 gold to 3,200. That's nice because Lord Dominic's, ever since they got the 10% armor pen and having 10% more armor pen to Shredder's and having a Giant Slayer passive, it was kind of weird that Lord Dominic's was only 2,900 and Shoulders was 3,400. So bringing the two options closer in line is really good. This Trinity Force buff is probably the highlight of the patch. Very big change here. So went from 25 AD to 30 AD base, from 35 attack speed to 30 attack speed base, and a new effect with a passive. The stacking passive now stacks on the towers, and they made the mythic passive from 10% attack speed to 3 AD, 3 movement speed, and 3 haste. So the buffs are kind of weird. Like, you're only getting 5 more AD, you're losing 5% attack speed, and arguably the mythic passive can be worse or better depending on what champion you're playing. But the passive stacks on tower waking is just monstrous for the champions who do use Triforce. Thinking like things like Jax and Yorick, and these guys will be absolute slow push machines. So I mean, aside from the few cases where people can use Triforce, it's not that big of a change, but it is for those few champions. And we might even see some of those champions definitely come back on meta. So item adjustment is Turbo Chem Tank. This is due to the new tank Heckman build running around with Chem Tank, or just tanks in general. So the supercharged move speed is going from 75% increase to 60% increased move speed, and this is going from 40% slow to 50% slow. Just a shift in power. It's still a really good item and it's still going to be bought all the time. Udia's base AD went from 66 to 64. I assume they just wanted him to clear slower. He's still going to be a really good jungler. 2 AD off is not that bad. Especially when most of his clear comes through Bombies and Phoenix. Ekron's maximum boost suit went from 75% to 65% on E. Once again, hitting the move speed here because of the fact that Heckman is going a new full tank build and getting most of his damage through Phase Rush, Blue Smite, E, and his Chem Tank move speed bonuses. Ivan's E damage went from 70 to 170 to 70 to 150. This is due in to partake. They just fixed the bug with Daisy last patch, and he just started overperforming a little bit, so they're giving him a small nerf. Rel's E stun duration from 0.75 to 0.5 seconds as Rel's overperforming in the support role. These are small nerfs. Honestly, you might not even notice them. They might not affect you, and I don't expect their win rates to go more than 2% up or down. Like, it's not going to be that big. Thresh's W shield went from 60 to 220 to 60 to 180. Yeah, it's quite a bit of the max rank shield, but once again, people are maxing Lantern last on Thresh, so you might not even get there most games, to be honest with you. Alice's Q damage went from 6240 to 6220, and the E damage on an attack went from 35290 to 220 to 275. So he's losing around 20 damage on the Q max rank, and about 20 damage on the E max rank as well. E's max last, so you won't feel that one, but even if you do get there, 40 damage does kind of suck. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I know a lot of people have been playing Alistair nowadays just because, you know, Helicopter and just tank supports are really coming back. So it's sad to see Alistair nerfed though, because I personally think that there's a lot of counterplay amongst them. So Getting rid of the small damage he already has, kind of weird. But it won't be that impactful, I feel, as well. Only 20 damage max rank. The Q is not that bad. And it does add up to 40, but that's once you ease max. And if you ease max on Alistair, if you're actually level 18 on Alistair, you played Alistair wrong. So you most likely won't feel that change at all. Because Alistair is all about pressuring that lead and going aggressive and roaming. Kaiser RCD went from 110 to 70 to 130 and 70. Thank God. Not a monstrous nerf, but definitely a welcome nerf to give more counterplay and more windows of trading here. Tristana's base attack damage now from 61 to 59. Oh yeah, the beloved -3 +3 AD buff nerf. That's not anything. Tristana is really strong. The nerfs are very small here and minor. Honestly, the nerf is more towards Hecarim and his speed. So it's nothing too crazy to rave home about. But these buffs are very nice. So right off the bat, we have Kindred's Q bonus AD ratio from 65% to 75%, and an ECD going from 1814 to 16 to 12. So that's a nice amount of time on the E, and 10% extra bonus AD is really nice, especially when Kindred is a pretty decent user of going Essence Reaver or Gale Force and Collector. So this is quite nice. This is the biggest buff I wanted to highlight this patch is Yorick. So Yorick's Mistwalkers, which are his little minions if you didn't know, will draw tower aggro into themselves when attacking, and his E mark champions continuously awaken graves during the debuff, and his E Mistwalkers deal an attack when they leap now as well, and his R towers prioritize maiden last. So what this means is if you E someone as Yorick and they have the debuff on where your little minions go leap at them, your Mistwalkers, any other graves around them will also proc, and then the tower will be targeting your minions and your maiden last. So now that your minions are being targeted last, and your the passive from Triforce is stacking, which is an item that Yorick likes to build, and your Q procs, and you typically run Demolish, you can definitely see Yorick come back into the meta for sure. Maybe not like crazy like pick or ban or high elo, but definitely gonna be a returning low elo stomper. There's no way. The fact that he has all these things proc on his tower, and now the tower won't hit his Mistwalkers or made until last unless he dives, and he gets more pressure with his E in lane as well. Like, this is a really big change. Probably the biggest change in the whole patch. So Braum got a small buff for his E cooldown going from 18 seconds to 10 seconds to 16 to 8. That's pretty nice, having it up more often. And his R max lockup went from 1 to 1.5 to 1 to 2 seconds flat. Nice buffs, nothing crazy, but definitely really nice and very welcomed, especially having your E up more often so you can block more projectiles. Yasuo's AD per level went from 2.2 to 3. Nothing crazy here as well. I don't think anything crazy will come out of it. It's 0.AD per rank. It does add up, especially in the middle late game, but it won't be significant, I feel. Mordekaiser's Q isolation bonus damage went from 30-50% to 40-60%, so 10% even at rank 1 and 10% at max rank. Very good changes, very welcome changes, I'm sure, for Mord mains out there. And Mord could be definitely bumping a tier up in priority in both low elo and high elo, because 10% extra isolation damage is quite a lot and gives a lot of good trade patterns and kill pressure. Lissandra's Q damage went from 70 to 190 to 80 to 200. Pretty nice. Helps with clearing and trade patterns. Only about 10. Lissandra's already in a worse spot, has more problems, especially now that everyone can have Everfrost, and Lissandra's just gone really low in priority. I don't think this will be that big of a change for her, but hopefully it's a nice one. I mean, 10 damage, it's not going to help that much more of a wave clearing, but it's still nice. Ash's W damage from 20 to 80 to 30-90. I assume to maybe enforce more of a poke build or just give her a small buff. Ash is in a pretty weird, decent spot, so I'm surprised to see a buff, but man, it's better than seeing Tristana get a buff or something like that, so I'll take it. Varus' AD per level went from 3 to 3.4. Interesting. Giving him 0.4 AD per level. Fred Varus is actually sneakily coming back in the middle with a new lethality build, so wonder if this may tip him over a little bit into some priority. And then remember his Q mana cost went from 50-70 to 30-50, and his ECD went from 10-6 to 9-5. So just kind of nice here with the ECD a little bit faster clear and a little bit more mana sufficient as well. Nothing crazy, probably not another 2%. The big takeaways from this patch are definitely Yorick and the Triforce change, some of the item changes as well, and the Hecarim changes with the turbo chem tank and his own move speed. These are the big shifters of this patch that I'd be looking out for, and hopefully they keep this patch because this is a pretty good patch. Nothing crazy, nothing too big, but pretty good one. I don't know what they would change if they do change before the official patch notes come out, but this is looking pretty solid right here. Hopefully they could address and actually nerf some of the more frustrating picks like Tristana a bit more, but overall it's pretty decent. And just get ready to see some more Yorick and maybe some more Triforce users. But that was it for me, guys. The patch 11.7 preview. If you like this video, please like it. It would really help out. Comment down below what you think about the patch or if you like this patch. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment Oreo. So I'd like to see if you guys did. But with that, guys, enjoy the rest of the day and peace.